G'day YouTube, Down to Bricks here. What you building? Well, I have been building my modified brick bank. Now, I wasn't sure if I should do a part video for this project, but I don't really know when I'm going to get it finished, so I did want to share this with you. That way I can get your thoughts and opinions and see if I'm heading in the right direction. And I must say, this has been quite a challenge to put together, because even though on the whole it pretty much just looks like the brick bank, of course it is 8 studs wider, and by changing that footprint means it's had a few challenges of how I actually add those 8 studs in. How do I fill those 8 studs? And because I don't ever really plan anything, I have these sort of ideas in my head and I just start building, and I sort of just put it together as I go. But my whole original plan was just to open this middle section here, those 8 studs, and by doing that I simply just filled in using these awesome printed panel pieces, these window inserts, and I just absolutely love those. So that made it easy just to open that up. But then the real challenge was, how then do I design this section here? And because in the original brick bank, and I actually do have the face of the original one here, and I'm going to scoot that into the shot in a minute so we can do a bit of a comparison. But I sort of tried numerous different things, and I had this whole area filled up with all sorts of bling, and it was just too much. So I ended up just ripping it out, and I thought, I just want to go simple. What can I do? Just something simple that's going to be quite striking. And it just dawned on me. I just said, look, I love these panels. Why don't I just use those? So once I put those in, worked out how I was actually going to fit those, and then just putting this center feature here, it really just came together, and I am super happy with how this bottom floor looks. Of course, the challenge moving up is I have to continue this extra wide center piece here. I've got to continue that up onto the other floors, so it's going to be a continual challenge, at least until I get the first floor worked out, and then after that it should get a bit more simpler. Now, I have fully detailed the inside. Of course, I've pretty much just used the interior from the original brick bank modular, but because it is 8 studs wide, I've had to fill it out a little bit more. But before we take a look into the inside, let's just do a bit of a comparison so you can see what it used to be to what it is now. So let's slide in the original brick bank on the ground floor. There's a few little things here. I have pillaged a few pieces off it, but on the whole you can really see the difference here and how much wider just those 8 studs, how much bigger it actually is going to make the building. And here you can see what I mean about this center design, how I was going to change that up. And see, I had a lot of this type of thing all through along the bottom here, and as I said, it was just too much. And I actually think what I've come up with is much cleaner while still having a quite striking effect. And just to break that grey up a little bit, I did use some of these light bluish grey bullion pieces just in along the top there, just for a bit more detail. But I think it's time that we go in and have a look at what I've done with the interior. And just before we do that, I'll just spin this around. You can really see that if you get inside, I really have that. If I pull that out, I really have sort of ripped a lot of the guts of this out just to get a lot of parts that I've needed. And obviously the big difference here is the laundry is gone on my brick bank. Okay, so to start off, basically all of this side here is pretty much exactly the same as what it was in the original brick bank. This top section here is 1 brick or 1 stud wider, just to help hold that whole snot technique for those panel pieces on the front. And of course the big change is really all down this side where the laundry mat was. Taking a closer look, a few changes here. This keypad for the safe is a little bit different. The teller area has changed a little bit as well. Basically, this whole area has 2 access points, so there is a door down here. We'll get a closer look at that to make your way into the teller and the safe, and there's a door over here to make your way into the office. And I've just put an office in there, so if you're taking out a loan or whatever, you need some Lego money for some Lego real estate, you can sit in the office there and talk to the manager. Because it's 8 studs wider, I was able to use more of this awesome floor design from the original bank. I really love the look of that. Leads up to the doorway to go into the teller area. On the door, instead of just a door handle, I have put a lock. I would actually like to get a little printed keypad of some sort to put on the door there, so it's more of a safety door. You can get an old 1x1 printed tile with some black and red buttons on it. I'm pretty sure there's something newer along those lines with a keypad. If you know of something, let me know. I'd love to get hold of a couple of those pieces just to make it a little bit more authentic. Of course, we still have the stairs in the corner leading up to the first floor. The first floor of my brick bank is going to be fairly similar to the original brick bank. I have put in another wall hanging and a clock on this wall, and I did just use the clear pieces there just to tie in to the front of the building a little bit. Spinning around to the other side, you can see I've got the little area to fill out your paperwork, your withdrawal slips for the teller, and that was just a little build taken straight out of the original brick bank. I have put a wall hanging there, that massive check and a clock. And discovering something about myself I didn't know before, after building the expansion for the Palace Cinema and now doing the brick bank, I actually really enjoy designing elevators. My missus is laughing her head off in the background. Elevators, she's saying. Yeah, so quite strange, I know, but I did really enjoy putting this together. Let me know what you think. Does it look alright? I do, like I said, I do enjoy it. I do like how I've come up with that button to press for the elevator as well. So there you have it, the start of my expanded brick bank. I'd really like to know what you guys think. Something I didn't mention is this clock that normally goes on the corner of the building. I just did put it on the black post there, and I think that looks pretty cool. But please let me know what you think. I'm really not sure what I'm going to do interior wise for the upper floors for the brick bank. I'm definitely going to detail out the second floor, as I said, just as it was pretty much in the original modular. But going to the floors above that, it really is just going to be office space, I think. I don't know if I'm going to use more of my brick to detail out those interiors. But let me know what you think about that. Let me know what you think of it so far. Please give me a thumbs up, that would be awesome. And if you stumbled onto my channel and you want to see where I'm going with this build, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and that way you won't miss out. Thank you all very much for taking the time to watch, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.
Sorry. Sorry, I couldn't resist.